Grace was the perfect daughter, obedient, devoted, and pure, the pride of her parents, the joy of the congregation. But one strike, one friend, and one boy would change everything. The church chapel sat like a quiet monument at the heart of Ibadan. Whitewashed walls, a bell tower that rang every Sunday morning, and stained glass windows that bled sunlight into the pews. Grace Adebayo knelt beside her mother at the altar, whispering her morning prayers. Her voice was soft, innocent, and sincere. She was 21, a final-year student of microbiology, currently home because of the ASUU strike. To the congregation, she was the epitome of virtue, a golden girl, a pastor's daughter, mum's chef. She loved spending time with her mum cooking and inviting friends and church members over for meals. Her father, Pastor Ezekiel, often called her the crown of my righteousness. "Grace," he said, after service one Sunday, placing a hand on her shoulder, "you are the example our young girls should follow. Don't ever forget who you are." She smiled and nodded, but deep down there was an itch, something restless, something unspoken. It was a Thursday afternoon. The ceiling fan hummed lazily as Grace sat on her bed, flipping through her Bible. Her phone buzzed. "Lola," text message, "Baby, you're not a nun. Let's go out tonight. Just ice cream and gist. I'll come pick you. I swear it'll be chilly." Grace hesitated. She typed, "I don't know. Daddy won't let me." Lola replied instantly, "Tell him it's a youth vigil. He won't say no. You need to breathe, babe." Lola was her bubbly best friend, who thought Grace needed to loosen up. "You're 21, Debs, not 90, she would always tease her. Grace glanced at her door, then whispered, "Mum, I'm going to the vigil with Lola. We'll be back in the morning." Her mother nodded, unaware of the lie that just left her daughter's lips for the first time. The lounge in Bodhiha was dimly lit. Jazz played in the background. Grace sat nervously in her borrowed jeans and hoodie. Then he walked in. Daniel. Tall, confident. A gentle smile. He wore a white shirt, sleeves rolled, a Bible in one hand, a drink in the other. Daniel, 24, fresh from NYSC, was the son of the church's biggest donor. He'd seen Grace at a church event and was obsessed. Lola waved him over. "Grace, meet Daniel. He's been dying to meet you. He was at your church last month." Daniel smiled and offered a handshake. "So you're the angel they keep in a glass box. You're even more beautiful in person." Daniel quoted Psalm 139, Grace's favorite, his voice smooth as honey. "It's a blessing to meet you," he said. To Grace, he seemed perfect. She blushed. "I saw you lead worship. You reminded me of Esther, brave and radiant." He spoke her language, scripture, warmth, charm. But Lola watched from a corner, silent. Her new iPhone glistened in her bag. They talked, drank, and got familiar. He was good with the scriptures, and he knew what girls liked. Attention, and he had plenty to offer. He talks about his faith journey and acts like the perfect gentleman. But his eyes linger too long, his touches too deliberate. Daniel was a master of masks. He played the good Christian, but his holiness was a lie. With Lola's help, he pulled Grace into his world. She started lying to her parents, small lies at first, then bigger ones. Days turned to weeks. Daniel became a constant. He sent her Bible verses in the morning. He invited her to small Christian hangouts. Then gradually, those hangouts turned into bonfire nights, then parties, then clubs. "Just one drink," he'd say, smiling. "But my parents, they'll never know. Don't you trust me?" Trust. That word became her downfall. Grace began sneaking out more. She'd leave home in long skirts and change in Lola's car. Daniel slowly introduces her to parties, alcohol, then clubs. She's hooked, not just on him, but the freedom. She was getting a different kind of attention dedicated only to her, and she was falling for it. Her mother noticed. "Grace, are you okay? You've been distant." "Mum, I'm just tired of the strike. I'm trying to stay sane." Pastor Ezekiel simply said, "Keep praying." Temptation lurks, but Grace wasn't praying anymore. The ASUU strike dragged on, and Grace's double life grew. By day, she was the pastor's daughter, singing in the choir. By night, she was someone else, drinking, smoking, living for the thrill. Daniel's gifts, dresses, a new phone, made her feel special, but it was all a trap. One evening, Grace went to Daniel's apartment unannounced. She opened the door and froze. Daniel was on the couch, another girl on his lap, both half-dressed, laughing. He looked up and smirked. "Oh, you weren't supposed to come today?" Grace's voice trembled. What is this?" The other girl stood up, confused. Daniel adjusted his shirt. "Look, don't make this dramatic. You knew what this was." She blinked, stunned. "You said you loved me?" He laughed. "Loved? You were just a curiosity. The pastor's daughter going rogue? I had to see it for myself." She slapped him. He didn't flinch. He walked her out of his home. A month passed. Grace barely spoke. She avoided church, home, even Lola. Then one morning, she woke up nauseous. 3 pregnancy tests later, she collapsed to the floor. Positive. She called Daniel. He didn't answer. Finally, he picked. "You're what?" "Listen, handle it. Quietly. My father can't hear about this." Lola urged her toward a clinic. "We can't let your parents find out. Just get it over with." She lay in the clinic bed, tears running. Something went wrong. A sharp pain. Darkness. She woke up in a hospital. Her mother's sobs filled the room. "Who did this to you?" Sister Ruth cried, gripping her hand. Grace whispered the name. "Daniel." Grace confesses everything. Pastor Ezekiel stood beside the hospital bed, fists clenched. When Sister Ruth told him what happened, he turned pale. "Daniel? The Daniel whose father funded our church building? We can't just accuse them." Sister Ruth's eyes narrowed. "Our daughter nearly died, and you're thinking about donations." He hesitated. "We need to pray. We can't cause division in the church." Sister Ruth screamed. "Cause division? Our daughter was violated and nearly bled out. Choose, your daughter or your church." When the ASUU strike ended, Grace returned to campus. She was different. Dyed hair, heels, dark lipstick, a new wardrobe. She smoked behind hostels, danced at clubs. She laughed too loudly and cried in bathrooms. The whispers followed her. "Isn't that the pastor's daughter?" But Grace had stopped caring what people thought. She was surviving, barely. Then came the letter, a white envelope slid under her hostel door. No stamp, no return address. She opened it. It was from Lola. "I'm sorry. I didn't know it would go this far, but there's something you need to know about Daniel. He's not who you think he is. And what happened to you? It wasn't just you. Please, read this carefully." Grace's hands trembled as she turned to the second page. Her eyes widened, her lips parted, but no sound came. A final line burned into her mind. "There's more, and it's darker than you think." To be continued. Not every sinner wears tattoos. Not every angel wears a halo. Some battles are silent, but deadly.